What up, y'all? Welcome back to a brand new season of Let's Talk More Action Golf. I'm Luke, and I am super thrilled to have you with me as we tee up for another unforgettable season. I am super excited with some of the guests that we're going to be having, with some of the folks that we're going to talk to, and one of the most exciting things for me this season, this is probably the only episode that you'll hear me by myself. I plan to bring some of my good friends that I've played with before to share their thoughts and interview some other guests with us. So I'm super excited. In addition to that, on today's episode, I plan to share with you some of the highlights of my recent golf rounds and also my journey to breaking 90, because that was an unforgettable moment for me. Also, I will share with you all my experience playing at what I would consider a top-tier golf course in Orlando, Florida. And then, to round things off, I'll share my goals, my 2025-year goals with you all on what I'm looking at as I start to play golf in this new season. So stick around. I'm going to just let the music play just a little bit so we can get into this episode correctly. All right, first off, let's talk about the past few months. Now, I'm proud to say that since the end of last season, I've played over 20 rounds of golf, and I've met several new people. I'm part of several new groups now, that people that I even call real friends, that we check in on each other to make sure that we're doing well. So a lot has happened, during the past few months that I've been playing those rounds. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of these rounds have been really, really smooth. I mean, like, I'm playing and I'm feeling myself. There were others, man, that really tested my patience. They really tested my whole idea of playing joyful golf, mindful golf. Like those times when I went from bunker to bunker to bunker and to max out on the holes. So those were really tough time for me, but also it made it even more gratifying that through it all, I pushed and I was able to finally break 90. Now, don't get me wrong, breaking 90 has been an incredible accomplishment, but it wasn't just about the score. It was about, one, the discipline that I developed, the focus, staying calm under pressure, and the ability to really take in feedback, because I got me a few lessons to really understand what I needed to improve, what I needed to do. I even changed my swing to ensure that I did this correctly. One of the highlights of these past season that I really appreciated is that I became a little bit more strategic in the way that I not only practice, but also play the game. Let me give you an example. When I first started, I was practicing almost every single day. And the way that I would practice, I would get on the range with a basket of balls and just pick out a couple of clubs and start smashing, start hitting. Like 2 hours later, I'm sweaty, I'm walking away from the range and processing, reflecting, and thinking, wait, what exactly was I practicing? Other than making contact with the ball, I wasn't practicing in a way that was strategic enough. So now when I practice, it's very different. I get on the course. I know exactly whether I want to go do long irons, short irons, or I want to practice putting or my wedges. I go on the range with a plan to know exactly what I want to do. The other thing that happened in terms of the past few months that's really helped me is that I was really careful, because I'm a weekend golfer. I'm not on the PGA. I'm not doing a bunch of stuff. I'm a weekend golfer. I have a family. I have a lovely wife, amazing kids, who also want to spend time with me. When I first started, I would just go. And thankfully, during one time I was having a conversation with my mentor and telling them how much golf I was playing. He was like, well, you may want to reconsider that, because although your wife is cool, I'm pretty sure it's going to get to a point where she's going to start to maybe more or less hint at, hey, this thing is taking too much of your time. So I was really, grateful to have that level of feedback, because immediately I decided to have a conversation with my wife to ensure that, hey, you know what? I've decided I want to scale down on the amount of time that I'm playing golf, just so we can spend more time together. And what I found out is that even though she hadn't been saying anything, she was starting to feel it. Because on some days, I remember that day specifically. I told her that I was going to play golf, but I didn't say what time. I simply said in the morning. And I didn't tell her the location. So I had a tee time, a 9 o'clock tee time. But I'm the kind of player that I want to get there as early as possible if I can, get on the range, do a full practice round on everything, putting, chipping, long irons, short irons, practice with my driver before I get on. So I gave myself an hour to practice, but the place was about an hour away. So that means my tee time is at 9 o'clock. I left the house around like 6:30, got there, did my thing, played my round. And after the round, my guys were like, hey man, let's grab a drink. So I grabbed a drink. So I left my house at 6:30 in the morning, and I'm getting home around like 8 o'clock in the evening. And, my wife is amazing in the way that she gently reminds you when you have falter. Like, she's not going to come hard. She's simply like small incision, like a surgeon. Hey, babe, it would have been really nice if you had told me that this was going to be an all-day thing. And when I tell you, it crushed me, because I had already had that conversation with my mentor. I really wanted to make sure that this golf did not become a problem in our lives, because she's been gracious with her time, the energy, and even getting on the course with me a couple of times. So I didn't want it to get there, but it did. So that's also another way that I changed strategy. So now we put things on the calendar. I try to make sure that my practice is better, so then I don't have to practice 7 times a day, 7 times a week. I have maybe 2 days of practice where I'm very specific, already draft out a plan. What am I going to do when I get there? It's no more than an hour, hour and a half. And then I get home, and then I'm back to being a husband, a dad as usual. So this was really an opportunity for me to better myself in all aspects while improving on the golf course. So while breaking 90 wasn't a goal of mine, but because some of these things I put in place, the discipline, the focus, the staying calm under pressure, the making sure that golf doesn't disturb other area or neglect other important areas in my life. So when I get on the golf course now, I'm calmer. I'm happier, because I know, hey, my wife is happy. The kids are happy. We've done things. And then now this is my time with me and my brothers to get together to enjoy our time on the course. And so with that, it's really helped me to break 90. I'm sure I shared with you all that I had gotten myself used TaylorMade burners that I got from Dick's Sporting Goods for $129. And so I was really grateful for that. And when I broke 90, I decided, okay, it was time for me to take my game to the next level. So one of my playing partners, his name is Cox, or we call him Cox, his name is Rodney, suggested, Luke, man, you got to get fitted, because your game is starting to get better. You got to get fit. The day that I broke 90, I said, schedule a fitting. So I went, got fitted, and when I got fitted, I tried. I'm sure many of you have been in the fitting experience before. They measure your palm, they measure your arms, they measure everything to make sure that they're suggesting the right club for you. They're giving you the right club that fit your body style, your height, and so on and so forth. So I tried several clubs. I mean, Callaway, TaylorMade, TaylorMade burners. I got used to those. So yeah, I would have felt really good with some of those TaylorMade offerings. But when I try the Mizuno, I felt like the JPX, man, I felt like, yeah, these were my club. The weight on the club, the way that it's shaped, like the look of it when you put it on the ground. I mean, it was beautiful. So I decided, okay, those are the clubs that I wanted. So, of course, like a good golf player, I came home and I just kept talking about it until my wife got tired and said, babe, I'm going to get you those golf clubs for Christmas. You know what I mean? That's what you got to do. You can't come in the house, boss up, say, yo, I deserve. No, 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 no. You got to drop a little hints. I'm about to jump in the shower. I'm like, babe, you're not going to believe how good I am at golf now. At dinner, yo, babe, you're not going to believe how well I played today. We in the car, we on the way to work, carpooling. Baby, listen, you got to see me play. In fact, I took her with me, and then she saw me play. She was like, even she said it herself. She's like, babe, the last time I played with you, we were over there. And when she said over there, she meant in the rough. She said we were spending so much time in the rough, the sun went down on us and we couldn't finish. And look at us now. You're on the green, you putting, you doing things. Yo, she was so happy. And I'm like, yeah, babe, that's what I'm telling you, yo. If I could get me some new clubs, it'd be the bomb. I'm dropping clues everywhere. We in bed talking, having our regular weekly check-in about our things. And, guess what I bring up? I'm like, man, I'm so grateful how far I've come in my golf game. Every time I go, I do well. I come home. I'm so grateful. And finally, she got the hint. And she's like, babe, let's pull the trigger. And then a week later, no, actually it was 2 weeks later, the clubs came. The guy who fitted me talk about, those clubs were coming directly from Japan. So I was praying that Trump hadn't been elected to mess up with the tariffs so I could get my clubs. But hey, listen, clubs showed up on time. There were no issues, with the containers. It didn't fall off the truck. It got there. So I'm super happy with that. So now that I have my clubs, it really gave me a good sense of who I was playing. So my next step now is taking a golf trip. I had never taken a golf trip before, but no one had a golf trip. So I am super grateful because I went to a conference in Orlando, and the hotel I was staying in that hotel, they had a golf course. It's called the the World Marriott Hotel, and the golf course is called Hawks Landing Golf Club. So I decided after the conference, I could get in a quick 9-hole. And let me tell you, your boy has never been in a place where when you show up, there is someone to pick up your golf bags, get your shoes. In fact, listen, I need to take a quick break, get me some water, and then when I get back, I'm going to tell you guys about this amazing experience I've had at Golf's Landing. Listen, let me put you up with just a little bit of music. 2 seconds, get a quick glass of water, because I drink quick, and then get right back at you all. All right, y'all, if you're just tuning in, it's Luke with Let's Talk More Action Golf. So I was telling you guys about my experience at Hawks Landing Golf Club. So I went to a conference for work. I decided, hey, you know what? Part of the conference, the last day is going to be a half a day. Even if it's just for the experience, I might as well see what I can do, traveling. So I went over there, put my golf clubs in the bag, decided, hey, I'm going to just get me a quick golf. When I got to the golf course, I've never experienced this before. A gentleman came out, took my bag out the back of the car, got my shoes, and all that stuff set up. He took my golf clubs to the cart, pulled out a towel, cleaned them joints for me. I mean, they weren't bad. I try to maintain my clubs, clean at all times. But he pulled out his towel, cleaned everything, make sure everything was in tip-top shape, and then told me where the range was. When I got to the range, now, keep in mind, I'm used at playing at clubs where you pay a few dollars to get you a bucket. Or, my home club, I'm a member, so I don't pay for the bucket of balls, but I got to go there. But I'd always seen on TV how people, like when they're showing Tiger Woods, he's on the range, there is a pyramid of pearly white balls just sitting there waiting for him to hit. I mean, these balls are always super white, just waiting. I had never had that experience. When I got to the range, guess what was waiting for me? A pyramid of white, pearly balls. Oh, man. I was so ecstatic. I was so, just amazed at where I was. So I started hitting balls. I'm hitting well. I'm doing well. And then now comes my tee time. At my tee time, I get there. They paired, it was me and my friend. They paired us with a couple of locals. We started playing, and man, when we got to the third hole, there's this water that you have to hit the ball across. So we playing with these guys, and my friend and I, we start to shank the ball. So we're just putting balls in the water. So by the time we hit the third balls and it landed in the water, so when we got to the next hole at the tee box, these two older gentlemen did the grimiest thing ever. These guys turned around and they're like, hey guys, we got doctor's appointment after this. We got to move a little faster. We're going to go ahead and play, ahead. You guys could take your time, relax. Basically what they were saying, sir, you guys look like you do not know how to play. You guys suck. And we're not going to waste any more time watching you guys put balls in the water. So we're going to move, keep it moving. Anyway, it was funny because I peeped game. I probably would have done the same thing. But I peeped game. My friends and I, we started laughing. We joked about it. And little do you know, we played some of the best, like a really good round after these guys left. We got to play 18, even though the sun was starting to get a little dark, starting to go down. The sky was getting a little dark. We were able to squeeze all 18 all in the round. And let me tell you something. It was so amazing. It was really great to have been able to play at a top tier, course like Hawks Landing. I'm sure there are many other great courses over there, but this one was definitely a beautiful one. And, playing there reminded me of why golf is such a beautiful sport. Because it allowed me to be present, to fully appreciate the landscape where we were playing. And even though these guys left us, but embracing that the game is very challenging, is that there is a challenge, but also rewarding, a lot of rewards at every single swing. So that was my experience, and I truly enjoyed it, for that experience. All right, y'all, we're going to take a quick minute. When we get back, after my quick sip of water, we're going to talk about TGL, like the golf tournament that's happening indoor. And I want to share my feedback, my feelings, my opinion about this tournament. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. All right, y'all, I'm back. And let's shift gear and talk about the TGL tournament. Now, if you haven't heard, this is a tech-infused golf league where players compete in high-energy, indoor setting, and they're hitting the ball on a screen, a.k.a. the simulator. I mean, the game in itself, from what I've watched, is very fast-paced. It's flashy because, of course, it's built around entertainment. And, it's definitely a different kind of golf experience. Now, for me, I know a bunch of people that are super excited, really hype about how innovative it is and the opportunity to see their favorite players in a way that generally they don't get to, right? Because sometimes, getting on the actual PGA Tour, you're walking, you're standing somewhere, you're hoping you get to see everybody. Sometimes it may be hot. If it rains, it's a problem. Being on the course has its own, challenges. But being inside gives people an opportunity to be in stadium like, arenas where they're able to see everyone in the same place. And that to me, undeniably, I cannot deny the fact that it is a great experience. It's just that for me, hitting balls on the screen just isn't exactly what I would call a competitive atmosphere. And yeah, I get it, right? Golf has to evolve. We have to get more people, definitely more people into the game. And this is one way to get more folks in the game where it's not constantly switching camera one, let's go to hole 9, let's go to hole 10. Because I remember when I first started watching golf, that was definitely a point of like confusion for me. I didn't understand, they'll talk, well, we're staying here. We just watched Tiger. Okay, let's go to hole 9 now. Blah. That was always a point of confusion for me because I'm like, wait, who's playing? Where are they playing? And I didn't fully understand it. Now, this TGL gives people an opportunity to be all in the same space, to see all the players compete, to see how it is, right? Different reactions, and for people who don't get to see everybody together, right, this is an opportunity for them. And I think, in as much as I think it's a really great thing for folks to do that, it's just for me, I don't know, this idea of just you hit the ball and the computer, determines based on angle, based on all kind of different data set, tells you where the ball is going to land. It's not a new technology. In fact, they've enhanced this, at least in the little docuseries that I saw about TGL. They're completely, added, twice as many cameras everywhere. So they can collect as much information and relay that on the screen in a way that's accurate and very, that displays in terms of user interface in the best possible way. So I think it's amazing. It's just I cannot get into it. I really cannot get into, players or even myself. I really cannot get into that. I would go to the PGA Superstore, Dick's Sporting Good and all that stuff, and I could never recreate my swing on the golf course in front of the simulator. In fact, one time I went to Top Golf, my wife played way better than I did because I was so distracted. I just couldn't pay attention. It just isn't my cup of tea. So basically what I'm saying is while I'm really happy TGL is providing an opportunity for people to experience golf in a brand new way, it's just for me, if I'm being honest, I really want golf to be about the feel of the grass under your feet, the sound of the ball and the club, the way it hits when it's making your divots with real grass, real dirt. You know what I mean? And then the way the course challenge you in real time. For me, that is what I want. And a lot of as far as simulated golf is concerned, for me, I think the technology is amazing. It just doesn't capture the soul of the game for me. Now, I'd love to hear what you think. Of course, you can always hit me up on IG. Let's talk more action golf. Because I want to hear what your feedback is. I want to hear what you think about TGL. I want to hear, is this something that am I being a traditionalist about it? Right? Am I being a purist about it? I'd love to hear your thoughts. So if you have any thoughts about TGL, hit me up. Send a DM. hit me up, share it, in any of my posts, share a comment about TGL. In fact, I'm going to do a post about TGL so I can get your feedback. I want to hear what you all think, about this. So that's my opinion about TGL. And this is something that's going to keep coming up because I want to ask every single guest, every friend that comes on the show, I want to get their feedback about what they think about TGL. I'm in a couple of group chats, and in one of the group chats that I'm in, all the guys are really excited about it. In fact, that's how I get more of my information from them sharing, highlights, as I'm watching it from the group chat. So I'm sure there are a lot of people with a lot of feedback on how things are supposed to be going. So listen, we got one more segment coming up. And when we get back after, because I got to drink water, because as you could tell, I talk nonstop. I got to take a sip of water. So when we get back, we're going to talk about my goals for 2025, my golf goals. We're going to talk about that. And of course, listen, share your thoughts. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are about your goals, about TGL. I'd love to hear that. And, I got something special, a special offering that we'll talk about when I get back. So let me take a sip of water. And then when we come back, we talk about my 2025 goals are going to be for golf. All right, y'all, I'm back. Now let's look ahead to 2025. There are some big goals that I'm setting up for this year, and they're not just about numbers, like I mentioned before. I want to be more connected with nature when I'm playing golf. Last year, I played with a bunch of different people, but there's one couple that I played with. They're from Denver, and we still stay in touch every now and then. Husband and wife, as we were playing, the wife she was on point. Don't get me wrong. She was playing real golf. She wasn't slow. She was moving at the proper pace. But in between swing, because they were walking, she would stop and appreciate get a little touch from nature. She would admire the ducks. She would admire the squirrels. She would admire the birds. She would take a closer attention, to what's going on with the ducks in the water. And I felt like that was an appreciation of what was happening and just being grateful for the moment. Because golf gives us this great opportunity for us to step away from the noise of life and really immerse ourselves in the outdoors. And with an opportunity like that, a lot of times we lose sight of everything that's around us. Yes, the goal is we're going to hit the ball, see who gets it in the hole in the fewer amount of stroke as possible. But at the same time, often when I play golf, 99% of the time, there is a clear sky. The clouds are super white. There's a nice breeze out there. Like even when it's windy, you get to experience nature in its fullness. You get to interact with animals, right? Whether it's geese, whether it's ducks, whether it's squirrels, whether rabbits, snakes, deer, fox, you have an opportunity with nature there. And so for me, one of my number one goal for 2025, I want to create add that as a priority for me, to take deep breaths, appreciate the views, and let the environment that I'm in allow myself to be fully immersed and embrace the environment that I'm here. The next goal that I have is around consistency. I want to make sure that I stay consistent. Right? I mean, who doesn't want to be consistent in every round that they play? I know everyone, are really good players. They're just inconsistent players. So for me, I want to make sure that I build a really solid routine that works every time. No matter where I'm playing, no matter the temperature, the environment, I want to build a routine that is solid 100% of the time. And the way that I plan, my plan for this goal is to continue to have more strategic practice sessions, more focused drills, and sticking to the plan. Because I'm sure many of you can totally relate to a lot of times we have a plan on how we're going to get something done on the course. And then we get there either because now we're laughing, the jokes are funnier, or something bad happened. We bogey or double bogey or max out on the hole, and then we forget the plan that we had already devised. So I want to stick to the plan, as I play as part of being more consistent. Finally, I will really, and I mentioned this a moment ago, but it's worth adding as a major priority in my goal is to have a more consistent and a strong emphasis on strategically practicing. So that means quality over quantity. So I want to work smarter. I don't want to work harder. So that means when I get on the range, I want to have as fewer balls as possible for whatever the practice round is going to be. If I'm practicing my wedges, 10 balls. So I know I add value to each of the balls because I'm not just hitting balls without being really mindful. So that means hitting 10 balls, instead of it taking 10 minutes, I want to make sure that it takes maybe 30 minutes. Every time I approach the ball, I make different calculations to understand why am I hitting the ball, where am I hitting the ball, and practice different shot shapes. So I want to make sure that my wedge, right, I really want to tap into the ability to hit different distance with a single club. So I want to be able, with my 54, to hit 100 yard. I want, with the same 54, that if I'm in a situation that I can hit it 50 yards. With that same 54, if I'm on the edge, I want to be able to, guess what? Get maybe a 10-yard shot out of there. So be really more focused and really have more in mind. Think of the game. Be more strategic as I'm practicing. So this is it for me. Those are my 3 goals. Stay connected with nature as I'm on the course. Be consistent in the way that I play, right? Which include strategic practices, focus drill, and sticking to my plan. And finally, adding and doubling up on my practices, making sure that my practices are about quality practices over quantity. I want to work smarter, not harder. So before I let you guys go today, I really appreciate each and every one of you for downloading this, but I want to encourage you also to share this with anyone you think that might benefit from this. And if you are in Houston, I got a treat for you. If you are in Houston on Sunday, let's hope the weather and everything continue to get better. On Sunday, we are going to have a putting clinic. And this putting clinic is super important because the minute that I started putting well, that's when my game started to get super elevated, I started to lower my scores because putting is an important thing. So I got together with my coach. He's a player coach, Norman Carter, right? Who's going to be facilitating this putting clinic for her. So if you're in Houston and you're looking to take your short game to the next level, this is the clinic for you. It's been a pleasure for me to host another episode. And I hope that you've enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. On the next episode, I got Josh from Josh Golf Quest Instagram, who's going to be talking to us. And let me tell you something. That's a conversation you do not want to miss. So make sure that you subscribe and download this episode so whenever a new episode comes, you're notified, right away. Let me know what your golf goals are for 2025. How are you staying connected with the game in nature? And of course, let me know your take on TGL tournament. Thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk More Action Golf podcast. We hope that you've enjoyed today's episode. A big shout out to our producer and creative director, Ajane Josepha, for bringing the show to life. And a special thank you to Sid Mac for our fantastic music. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast on your favorite platform. Follow us on social media for the latest update and exclusive content at Let's Talk More Action Golf. I'm your host, Luke Josepha. Until next time, keep swinging easy, and remember, let's talk more action golf.
Life's a maze, keep your head high when you going through it. I saw dead bodies look in the eyes of the living, held back cause you held back from making bigger decisions. We get lost, but this journey comes with us down, that's a given. That's a given. That's a given. We get lost, but the journey comes with us down, that's a given. That's a given.
Let's talk more action golf.